So an application tracking system, or an ATS for short, is a human resources software or system used by hiring managers and recruiters like myself when we're searching for potential candidates for roles we're working on. Now, when a company posts a role, usually they receive anywhere between hundreds to thousands of resumes, and that makes it very, very difficult to find a person who is a right fit for the role you're looking for. Now, ATS makes this job a little bit easier, and this means that applicants like yourself will have to tailor your resume to ensure that it can filter through the ATS system and get in front of the right person, which is what you're looking for. So what happens actually when you send your resume in response to a job application? What happens? So HR receives your resume once you apply for the job, whether that's on Indeed or whatever website, LinkedIn you do apply. HR will receive your resume, and then your resume is run through a parser, and a parser would remove the styling and strip the text into recognized strings of characters so it can be processed. And then the parser then assigns meaning to your resume. It looks at things like your education, your skill levels, your contact information, your experience, your accomplishment, things like that. And once that is done, the employer will then use keywords to search for candidates. So people like recruiters like myself will search for keywords in our ATS systems. And your resume is then scored based on relevancy, and it takes into account semantic matching of what the hiring manager has searched for, the terms they've used to search, and years of experience. And then the result is then displayed back to the hiring manager. So all of this process of what happens when you send your resume. So how can you build an ATS system and ensure that your resume is in front of the right person? Keywords are an important piece of building an ATS system and getting the right person to see your resume. So before you apply for jobs, review the job postings for relevant keywords, then add it to your resume before you send it in. That definitely will increase the chances of you showing up to the right person. Also, stick to shorter, attention-grabbing keywords in your resume. So for example, as an accountant, instead of you saying I did the books, it's better to say I was a bookkeeper, because the bookkeeper is more likely to be searched than did the books. So that would be a better way to ensure that the right person sees your resume. Also, add keywords throughout your resume. So at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end, you want to have as many keywords in your resume as possible. This increases the likelihood of your resume being shown to the employer or to the hiring manager. So I'll give you an example using my own personal resume. You can see I do have my personal resume as an example to show you what keywords look like and how an ATS system would retrieve the right keywords. So I have highlighted in yellow some of the keywords that an ATS system will typically pick up from my resume. So you can see entrepreneurship, sales, leadership, business, and throughout all of my work experience, all of these keywords are highlighted, and these are things that an ATS system would pick up to identify me as a right fit for whatever job a hiring manager is looking for. So make sure that in your resume you have action words, keywords that can be easily picked up to highlight your experience and your skill sets to a potential hiring manager. Also, having the right types of font for your resume is really important. Remember earlier we spoke about when your resume goes through that parser, all the text and everything is stripped down to make sense of it. So you want to make sure that the font you use is very, very easy for the ATS system to understand. So usually a sans serif font is typically one of the best ways, and usually this type of letter form doesn't have extended features called serif at the end of the strokes. So an Arial font is a good example of a sans serif font, and I definitely would recommend using this type of font in your resume. Also, it's very important to have a good structure for your resume. It would help the ATS system to really decode and understand your resume. So usually I would recommend having your resume to be broken down into objective or intro, experience or qualification, your education, other interests, and then extracurricular activities. So that way it's very easy for the ATS system to understand and decode your resume. And I will show you an example using my own personal resume. The first step is to have your personal information, and this would include your personal contact information and where you live. Also, you can see that I have the second phase would be your objective or your designation or an introduction. So that would be something you would put together like this. And then in terms of work experience or qualifications, this would be also an important piece. And then you can have all of that. And then your education is the next step, and then interest or extracurricular activities. So this is what a good resume structure look like, and an ATS system will be able to easily pick up on this type of structure.